Fastlane, your weekly NASCAR handicapping show. I'm your host, Steve Merril, and it is Wednesday, August 12th, and we are live 1 p.m. Eastern on Wager Talk TV each and every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, live here to talk about motorsports, NASCAR in general. But of course, Andy Lang sometimes has a little bonus Formula One for us as well, and you might be watching some motocross occasionally too. Who knows? But we've got Rocky Atkinson, Andy Lang, the usual suspects here with me on Wednesday. And we have a Daytona race coming up, guys, and it's a little bit unusual. And we'll get to that here in a bit. But first, guys, let's recap the Michigan races, plural. We had two of them on Saturday and Sunday. Kevin Harvick dominated both of them. First driver since 1971 to win back-to-back Cup races on 2 days. And he was dominant. He won 3 out of 4 stages. And Andy Lang, I'll start with you because you had a nice plus 650 winner free for all the viewers here on the show with the stage 1 and stage 2 sweep on Saturday. Easy money there. And you know what? We didn't talk about this on the show, but I thought about it Sunday, and I would have recommended for people to stay away from the wager on Sunday. And unfortunately, we didn't think to talk about that during the week. But with the inversion of the field in these back-to-back races, Harvick started 20th. Clint Boyer started near the front. He once again won a stage, which I think he did earlier in one of those Pocono races. Or we saw Almirola do the same thing. Those guys can get out in the lead. They can hold the lead. But then Harvick came back and won stage 2. So he would have swept the stages probably on Sunday had he started up front. But, yeah, Andy, your thoughts on that and maybe something the viewers can take away from that in the future about why it didn't work on Sunday.
It didn't work because Clint Boyer won the first stage. That's
right,
why.
And he started higher than he would have too. Exactly. Yeah.
Great win. And like we said on this, it doesn't have to hit every week. It has to hit every couple weeks. This new qualifying format helps me with this format big time. Absolutely. Look at that. Look at this. The starting lineup. It's Harvick and Hamlin. So you want to talk about somebody getting out front and winning 2 stages in a row. It's good. I do have to chuckle at this. I like giving people kind of some behind the scenes stuff. I didn't realize that I don't get credit for that because I didn't put it in Wager Talk. So I don't get credit for that. And I also realize in the Wager Talk algorithm, I don't get credit for my free plays. And someone was like, no, put a really good play as your free play. So I think I'm like 6-0 on free plays. And I just realized today I don't get credit for that. So I'm learning the system. We had a great week, 5-1 on all plays. We got unlucky on one play. We had Cole Custer over Ryan Newman on Saturday's race. Custer dominated that matchup and then wrecked at the end. And then, of course, Newman wrecked right after him. But we did get lucky because we will talk about Kyle Busch. We'll get to Rocky, but we won a bet when I faded Kyle Busch on Saturday, and then we won a bet when I supported Kyle Busch on Sunday. So I think we'll talk about Kyle. But Rocky, how did you do this weekend? You had a good one.
Yeah, I went 3-1 overall. I went 2-1 Saturday, came back, went 1-0 on Sunday. I had Kurt Busch over Bowman both days. Also had Kurt Busch over Jones, which was very close. And I had bad luck with Austin Dillon over DiBenedetto. Austin Dillon was running great and got an accident at the very end. We had that one locked up, I thought. So that was a tough loss there. Just missed the 4-0 sweep, but the Busch Jones matchup was very close. That one could have went either way. Jones got right on his right behind him at the very end there. So it was a good one. Kevin Harvick dominated again. Dominated the race all day. Won on Saturday, won stage 1, stage 2, and won the race. Kyle Busch actually had a good day. Was actually in a spot to win, but then Harvick kind of pushed him up the track. With a few laps to go, I had Keselowski finishing second here on the show, and he did just that. He had a good car all day. Had Chase Elliott finishing third. He ended up in the 7th spot. Eric Almirola had his first bad race in a long time. He actually finished 16th, which was way better than his car was. His car was probably a 25th place car or something. He wasn't really that good. John Hunter Nemechek wrecked 3 times. At the start of the race, Newman and Chris Booster had to go straight to the back after altering their spoilers on their cars, which they found out was a big no-no. On Sunday, Harvick He won the race again. Clint Boyer, as we said, won stage 1. Harvick won stage 2. Kyle Busch, another good finish. Is he coming on? He finished 4th. Amarillo had a much better finish, finishing 6th. Teammates Blaney and Keselowski, they were doing good, but they got together, wrecked each other out, finished last and dead last. So a tough day for Penske there.
Yeah, I mean, Keselowski, as you said, was one of the top cars on Saturday, and he and Blaney were racing for the lead basically when they took each other. Oh, Keselowski took Blaney. Yeah, we'll get to that. I have a feeling when we get to the Ricky Stenhouse Award, for Sunday's version at least, that will definitely be my top nominee. Andy, touch upon how you guys. I know the two of you combined. Was it 7-1 this past weekend, I believe? Or
yeah, I was 5-1. I normally Rocky's got more plays than me, but this week it was we switched it up. I had more. So I'm catching Rocky.
So Rocky, what was your record overall? Because I know we had a nice combined weekend, I think.
3-1 with premium plays. My head-to-head matchup here on the show won Saturday, and I did give another free play out on Twitter that actually cashed as well. So
we'll say 5-1, and then Andy, your 5-1 doesn't even include the plus 650, does it?
No,
and the free play. So 7-1 is so 12-2 combined on all the information. And guys, the free plays count in my regard because more people get those than the premium plays.
That's what I thought. It was like, if anything should count, it's those. Well,
Andy, I've really been trying to get free baseball up at wagertalk.com, and I think I've won 3 or 4 of the last 5 now in my free baseball plays. So yeah, I mean, it's funny. A couple of days ago, I lost the premium play, won the free play, and I actually did the baseball show on Sunday, and it had happened on Saturday. And I told the viewers, I was like, bad news is I lost the premium play. Good news is I won the free play. But the better news is that 100 times more people probably got that winner than got the premium play. So It's a good hedge, right? It's a good hedge. There's free plays up there. Viewers, wagertalk.com, sportsmemo.com. Lots of free information. You don't have to be a big player to benefit from these websites. I've had a free baseball play up each and every day since I've been on there at the start of August at Wager Talk. And Rocky Atkinson at sportsmemo.com, Andy Lang at wagertalk.com. They put up free plays. Andy does golf, NASCAR. He has a live MMA show on Saturday nights now, which is fantastic. I cashed the over 4.5 hours, so I padded my bankroll with that on Saturday. And then Andy passed out 1 minute after. He hung on just long enough to get me the money, and then he passed out like a true champ veteran he is. Rocky does baseball, basketball, football when it's here. He does hockey as well, along with NASCAR. I'm doing pro basketball, baseball right now at wagertalk.com. Football right around the corner. Looks like we might have some college football. The SEC, Rocky, and the ACC looks like they're going to comply and help us out here in the Big 12 as well. I'm actually doing a show right after this, guys, on a Tennessee, Alabama/Tennessee ESPN station here in about an hour. So I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about SEC football, and I'll have more information on that in a bit. I'm looking forward to that.
You think that might be a good bet, Steve, that the South might want to hear a little college football talk?
Well, I'd said all along, Andy, for months now, I was like, the Big 10 and the Pac-12 will be the two that go first. That's what's happening. And I go, if the SEC goes, it's all over. And it was looking that way. But hey, NASCAR, we can thank NASCAR in a way because they were the first one back for any sport. And I know it's not a team, it's a team sport, but it's not a bunch of players out there at the same time. But things are looking dicey for baseball. NBA's looked okay so far. Football's looking dicey, obviously. But yeah, NASCAR has held strong. Jimmy Johnson tests positive, and they still, they keep rolling along without a problem. Andy, I want to throw it back to you. 12-2 combined. I want to get that out there.
Yeah.
On all plays, opinions, free plays, premium plays. 12-2 combined for these two great cappers, Rocky and Andy. Sportsmemo.com, wagertalk.com. And Andy, I believe you had a rare overlap, and it's really amazing that it doesn't happen more often because we're all kind of looking at the same thing. And I like to say we're looking at the sharp side because we are. And I think the record and the information we give on this show has proven that over the last few months. But a rare instance, actually, where you guys had the same play, if you want to touch on that, Andy.
Yeah, so we had, we both, when the lines came out Sunday morning, I was hoping we'd get a couple really, really tasty ones because the books with not a lot of time to get their algorithm or get their matches up, however they do it. And they give us a gift of Kurt Busch versus Alex Bowman on Sunday again. And the line movement was crazy. It was minus 120, then plus 115. Rocky and I both obviously jumped on that. Everyone that follows the show probably didn't even need to see our picks to know we were going to be on that. and the line dropped all the way down to minus 205.
Wow.
A massive line movement. And I guess it just shows how important it is to have multiple books. And it shows how important it is to get the best number by getting in early. And I think too many times people don't understand how important that is, that the being able to check multiple books. Because if it moves from plus 115 to minus 205 on one book, it may have not moved that much on another. And if you follow Rocky and I's picks, put them in ASAP, because the line is hardly ever going to move against us. Where Rocky and I have ourselves positioned, we're going to get the best number. And all the best guys at Wager Talk, Steve, you know this, Rocky, know this, they always say, if you can beat the number, you're going to turn a profit long term. It's about beating the number. And it was unfortunate that we overlapped, and everyone that follows us hammered that play. I mean, hammered that play for good reason. So you can't be late to the party on these picks. You have to be on it. It's a really good service that Rocky and I provide, but you have to take advantage of it. You can take advantage of it by having multiple books and getting on it very, very quick. So that was my take on that bet. Rocky, I don't know if you want to add anything else to that.
I think you said it all. We don't overlap a lot. We've got different handicapping approaches, styles in NASCAR. They both work, obviously. And it's probably the third or fourth time maybe we've overlapped this year,
Yeah.
I think, maybe.
Yeah.
So, just definitely jump on board quick. If you're a seasoned subscriber of NASCAR, you get the picks right time we put them in. And we just suggest as soon as you get that email to go straight to your book and enter your pick for sure.
Yeah. And Rocky and I, we text when we're putting the picks in, like when we submit them to Wager Talk, that's right as we bet them. It's not like we've bet these like 12 hours before and then we put the picks in. Like, you're getting the picks when we find them and make them. It happens instantly. So you're not getting some stale pick that we've, taken advantage of the number. You're getting what we get. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and Rocky brought up a good point I was going to mention, is that that's the value of having a subscription, really a season package. And we've done so many promos here. I know a lot of the viewers in the chat right now watching us live on Wednesday afternoon and that watch the replay as well, they are subscribers. And that's the beauty of being a direct subscriber, is that you get it instantly. You don't have to check back every other hour wondering when the picks are going to be up. You're going to be more in the loop. And it's very important. There's good and bad about niche sports like NASCAR and golf that Andy specializes in. There's value. These lines are soft. There's no question that a NASCAR line is softer than an NFL Sunday line. The downside is the limits are lower for that reason, and the lines move faster. You're right, Andy, about closing line values, CLV. It's the key. If you're consistently getting a better number than the closing line in any sport, you have an edge and you are a sharp. You guys have proven that for decades now with NASCAR, and you do it in golf as well, Andy. Obviously, Rocky and I have an edge in baseball, basketball, the big team sports. But there's such a big market there that we can still be on the right side and not sometimes beat the closing line because there's square money. Some of the syndicates are on the wrong side. But in a sport like NASCAR or golf especially, you have to be on the ball. And one thing I'll point out, guys, and I know a lot of our viewers, and like Andy, you're in Indiana, you have some of the legal sports books now, like DraftKings and others. We talked about that plus 650 prop to sweep stages 1 and 2. Andy released it a few weeks ago. The line never moved. I don't think it moved again this week for Saturday. And it's been money in the bank. It's a bad number, and it shows that there's some books out there, especially these new public legal U.S. sports books, that have a lot of square action. I think is one of the reasons. I don't think the syndicates are betting into it yet because they're just state by state. So some of these offshores, like Andy's referencing, have these big moves. You can still find some solid lines at some of the legal sports books in the U.S. I've noticed that. I've been tracking it all summer long here with NASCAR. And there are some numbers that vary quite a bit at different books. And if you're in the U.S. and if you're lucky enough to be in one of the states on the East Coast, like Pennsylvania, Delaware, Indiana, New Jersey, where they have these books, shop around. It makes a huge difference in the long run. And I think we're going to see the same thing with football. We're seeing it some in basketball and baseball as well right now with some different lines. But yeah, excellent points. And hey, look, it's not a bad thing when they're both on the same side, because that means it's a pretty damn sharp play. And I think we saw that this week. So Andy, do you want to do 2 winners for the Stenhouse Junior Award for Michigan? I've got an automatic winner for Sunday, I think, and Rocky kind of touched on it. I mean, my nominee would be the 2 car taking out the 12 car.
Oh yeah, that's an obvious one. I mean, that's an automatic winner.
So I
for
figure
sure.
if we want to come up with another one, we can. I guess
Okay.
Saturday was a little tougher. I thought I didn't have anything great for Saturday, but yeah, I thought Sunday. I mean, Keselowski taking out the lead and his teammate, and it was accidental, but it was a complete unforced error. I mean, he just came into the turn too fast. Claims he got a little bit of a push, I think, from the 4 car, ironically.
Sure.
Who ends up winning the race. And,
okay, Brad.
But Blaney, once again, as fast as anybody, and I don't want to say he found a way to ruin it because I don't even know if you can blame him, but it's just amazing to me that guys like Harvick are never in that situation where someone clips them. I don't know what it is. They are driving, with their rearview mirror more, I guess. And Keselowski's kind of the guy we tell you always says second is never have unforced errors. So it's kind of nice to give him one because I don't think he's going to pick one up otherwise. But yeah, Andy, anything Saturday that jumped out to you? It's kind of been a long time ago in my mind. But
you talked about how Harvick's never in that position. Well, he was doing the bumping. He took Kyle Busch away from the win. And that's a good point. That's twice this year that because Blaney did it to him once, and then Harvick just did it to him. Kyle had the best car on Saturday.
Andy, do you think Harvick actually touched him? Or was it just air?
They said he didn't. It looked like, but
it looked like air. It looked like the air just got on that back fender, and because I think if he touched him, how fast they were going, that turns him. He at least gets up against the wall. He didn't wreck, so I don't think there was that contact. But yeah, that was the only one on Saturday I saw. But
plus, you could say also, Rocky, isn't it something that Kyle Busch, like Blaney, once again was in a position where air takes him out? I mean, it's just like you get the point where he's just snake bit this year, even though he did run well in both races. Do you see anything Saturday, Rocky, that caught you? I really can't think of too many nominees from Saturday.
Well, I've got 2 that I wrote down here. Newman's Jackman, he jumped over Matt Kenseth's car when Kenseth was coming into the pits. I don't know if y'all saw that or not.
No, I missed that one.
It was crazy. And John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, before finally taking it behind the wall. I mean,
that might be the one.
Boom, boom, boom. Every time it's the 38 car again spinning.
I think that sounds pretty good to me. I mean, Nemechek, 2 races, we have 2 pretty easy winners, I think. I mean, Nemechek Jr., I don't believe he's won it. We feel like we've mentioned him, but I don't think he's won it this year, Andy, has he? And
no.
I know Keselowski hasn't. I mean, Harvick and Keselowski have definitely not won it this year.
I do have one for Sunday that I want to mention.
Yeah, I got a couple more for Sunday too.
Go ahead, throw it out there, Rocky.
We're probably on the same one then.
Okay.
With the miscommunication with the crew with the code word hot dog.
I had that one too. That was one of my 3. Hot dog.
My hot dog don't mean the same as your hot dog.
The thing is, Rocky, it almost worked out. In fact, it was working out for him for a while, and I'm not sure it didn't end up working out better for him in the long run. But but I had that. I wrote that down instantly as well when Almirola had the wrong code word to pit, and he stayed out when everyone else came in. Yeah, that was a good one. That was in my top 3 as well. What else? You got anything else, Rocky, for Sunday?
I just had the Keselowski Blaney incident. That's it.
Do you have anything different, Andy? I had hot dog as well. That was a good one.
Yeah, we had 2 races over the weekend, so I think we need to put hot dog in there. I mean, a hot dog, that's your code word, hot dog? Are you kidding me?
I think Almirola's got a win already, doesn't he? Does he already have the award?
Oh, man.
I feel like he got it at one point.
Yeah, I think we might have 3 this week. We can do that. Yeah, I have 2 more that are kind of off the grid a little bit. I have NASCAR's system of determining the starting lineup. This is not that complicated. I don't understand why first off, they came up with the weirdest one, like, oh yeah, 1st through 20th, and then we random draw. Like, all right, that was weird. But now here's the formula: 50% on your finishing position the previous race, 35% owner points, and 15% of the equation is your fastest lap. Who came up with that? I think
DraftKings did. I think they coordinated with DraftKings.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, and I that one was bad. And then, I mean, it doesn't get much worse than the Hey Rut segments that they're trying to do, where he used to go out in the crowd and talk, and now he's just at home and they're like, "Hey Rut, what's going on in social media?" And it's like, I have a phone. I don't need Rut to tell me what is going on social media. I can do it myself. It's cringeworthy. He looks terrible. The announcers want nothing to do with it. It's awful. And I think they're paying him. So they're just trying to figure out how to get something out of him. But the Hey Rut segments are just, they're incredible.
Yeah, he's going to have to fall back on the My Floor is Lava game show that he hosts. The Floor is Lava might be his new thing because the stay-at-home broadcasting is not good for
not good
for an pits reporter. But I don't understand that they got other guys in the pits, so I'm not sure quite why Rut isn't allowed. It's strange. By the way, one other thing I wanted to mention too, as far as unforced errors, and this is actually on the serious note, is the 95 car Christopher Bell. I don't know if you guys noticed on Sunday. He was consistently losing anywhere from like 4 to 8 spots on pit row every time they'd all come down. I mean, on serious green pit stops, or not green, but on the caution pit stops, when all the lead cars are coming down, he was running top 5, top 10 a lot of times and just getting decimated. And, Harvick, once again, has been great all year, but one thing Harvick's been even greater at has been pit stops. And he was +6 on one of those, which got him up near the restart. He was +6, and he took the same amount of tires and gas as everyone else. Maybe a little less gas. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what the thing is. But Bell, I think, was -4 on that one. It was ahead of Harvick when he came in. And Harvick, I think it was like a 10-spot change. And Andy, when you said the position, I thought you were talking about the restart. I like that new rule, by the way, to choose your lane.
That's great.
Personally, I think, good. I'm glad you agree because I thought it was awesome.
No, I'm talking about the starting lineup. How
I know, but it made me remember we do have that new restart rule, and I think that's like the stage racing. I think it's going to be great for the sport. It brings excitement and strategy, and it shuffles up the lineups as well. If you're a 12th spot car, you could take a chance with a lane that you don't like and end up starting 4th, 5th, or 6th now. Yeah, Rocky, any thoughts on that? I think that new restart rule could be pretty exciting where they can choose their lane.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting. It's definitely different. Michigan, the top right lane was the 3rd lane, and then most of them will go to the top, and then of course you got number 7 guy. He's going to jump to the bottom or whatever and take that first spot up there, right beside number 1 guy. But it's definitely something to look out for moving forward.
Yeah, and I think the stage racing has been exciting. We've seen guys go hard middle of the race where they wouldn't have before. Now the restart's going to have a little more excitement to them as well with the cars mixed up. So we're going to go. I guess got to go with Keselowski as one of the winners. I think Almirola already has one, Andy, doesn't he?
They use the word hot dog.
I don't disagree.
As a code word for pitting, and he forgot.
I say we're fine. We're going to have 2 winners for the race. I think they could be in the same race. All my good nominations. That was my second pick for the week, so I thoroughly agree. And Rocky had it as well.
Yeah.
So
hot dog.
I'm gonna put it up here right now in the chat so it's official. We got the number 2 and the number 10 winners.
Yep. Yeah, those were easy. Those are good ones.
Yeah, I mean, so there we go. So number 2 and the number 10s are the winners here.
Congratulations, Almirola and Brad. Congratulations. You're in elite territory now.
I just love the winners list. I mean, these aren't the Brendan Pools and
these are so great.
Yeah, I mean, this is the championship contenders. And I asked you guys a few weeks ago, will Harvick win it before the season is over? I'm still saying the minus money is on the no, but Keselowski's got one now, and he was probably the second most consistent driver. And we're going to find a way to give it to Harvick, but he's been unbelievably good. You guys, before we get to Daytona, reminder, everybody, wagertalk.com, sportsmemo.com. We just talked about the free winners last week on the show here, +650 free winner. The head-to-head matchups won. Twitter, Rocky gives them out on Twitter. They're on sportsmemo.com, wagertalk.com from these guys. I think I've won 4 of my last 5 baseball free plays. I've got another one up there today. I'll have them up each and every day this week. Wagertalk.com for myself and Andy, sportsmemo.com for Rocky. And take a look at those NASCAR season packages. Fantastic time to get on board. And we've talked about the critical nature of getting these plays in before the lines move against you. A direct subscription, whether it be a 1-week all sports or a subscription for the full season, any sport, all sports, NASCAR is the way to go, because not only do you get the information sooner, but money management is key. Bankroll management, you're saving money on every pick. Instead of paying anywhere from $25 to $40 a pick sometimes, you're getting it all for a flat rate. So really look at one of those direct subscriptions right now at sportsmemo.com for Rocky, wagertalk.com for Andy. I'm also there with some baseball and basketball as well, Steve Merril. Hey, let's look at Daytona. I'll start with you, Andy. It's a different Daytona here. Maybe give the viewers a little bit of background on what's going on this weekend.
Well, it's the first time they're racing on this road course at Daytona. You can go online on YouTube, and they got a virtual lap of it, so you can get a really good. It's a really good YouTube video, real quick. It's like 3.5 minutes, and they show you kind of the different things. They got that chicane in turn 4. I don't like the Roval. I think it's really hokey and really ridiculous. I don't think the racing is very good. I think we're going to see better racing here. It's going to be complete chaos. Here's 2 quotes from people. Kevin Harvick, who's on the poll, quote, "I think it'll be interesting. I have no clue what I'm doing." And Chase Elliott, quote, "I have no idea where I need to stop on turn 1 or 2 or 3. So there's one car in the field that has any experience. Kyle Busch raced the 24 hours. This is an interesting race to try and handicap, because you can tackle it 2 different ways. You can be cautious and you can say, I don't have a lot of track history. I don't have a lot of information to go on, so I'm going to lay back a little bit, maybe take it easy. Or you can say, the books don't have any information either, so I'm going to pay attention to what I've seen recently. I can look at their road course history, and I'm going to have an advantage over the book, so I'm going to go full steam ahead. I got to say, in the chat room and YouTube, a lot of confidence in these matchups. People are saying, yeah, easy money is a comment. There's easy money. They're like, in Harvick plus 115 versus Elliot. I see Keselowski plus
I don't agree with that one.
Yeah, Keselowski plus 115 versus Blaney. Picks looking too easy. Kurt Busch minus 120 over Boyer. I would look up Boyer's course history at the Roval. So I do have a couple of people that I'm going to be targeting, and I'm hoping to get good matchups. I did want to wait until I saw the starting lineup. I think the starting lineup is very important this week. So, but we have that now. It came out.
It just came out.
Have it.
I was going to say, I'll pull it up here. Rocky, I'll throw it to you. I'll pull it up. First of all, by the way, Chase Elliott's been very good, sneaky good on road courses recently, and Harvick's not necessarily great here. He's off back-to-back wins. So I'd actually probably like Elliott in that matchup over Harvick, just thinking out loud here. But Rocky, are you going to look at, Watkins, Glen, Sonoma? I mean, a lot of uncertainty coming into this one, obviously.
Definitely no track history on this road course here in Daytona, so that gets thrown out. That is a big part of my formula that I use, and I'm going to be looking at track type history. So that's, like you said, the other road courses on the circuit. One guy I'm going to look at that I am expecting, I'm picking him to win this weekend, is Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Elliott has 3 wins, 4 top 5 finishes, 6 top 10 finishes in his 10 road course races. His average finish is 10.5 on road courses in his career, which is the best among all active drivers. He has 3 wins, 4 top 5, 6 top 10s over the past 8 races on road courses. Average finish 8.9 during that time. Elliott is starting in the 7th position here, so he's going to have to pass a few cars. But on road courses, you want somebody at the top. Starting lineup isn't important on a lot of tracks, but on road courses, starting lineup is very important. So pay attention to who's starting at the top for sure.
Yeah, I was just saying, the one thing you could say about Harvick is he does have the pole, and as Andy mentioned, it's a new system they're using here. It's a bit more fair than, well, it's obviously more fair than the random draw. I mean, anything is. But this is the one time where starting position is critical. It's a road course, and we do have the top 2 drivers this season starting 1-2, as they should, Harvick and Hamlin. I think that's fair. Truex Jr. and then Kyle Busch are 3-4. Andy, give me maybe a pick you're looking at, but yeah, Kyle Busch, wouldn't it be something all these tracks, all these weeks that he's been the most dominant guy historically on these tracks, he's underperformed. Now we come to one where there's no track history. As you said, the only guy that's actually got any lap time, I guess, on these turns has been technically Kyle Busch in a different type of series. And he is a very good road course racer, as he is everywhere. Wouldn't it be something if he gets the win this week? I could see it happening.
Yeah, he's got a great starting position. He's certainly got the pedigree. He's been in a couple years ago. He and Brad went toe to toe I think it was Sonoma.
Yeah.
Just an incredible last lap where they were banging against each other. So he's obviously no slouch to rooting and gouging and getting your way around there. Rocky and I were talking about this. I don't believe I've ever seen anything like the fade Alex Bowman thing since the restart. I mean, it has just been week after week after week of just honestly, if we would have just done that and forgotten about all the other picks, we'd probably be at like 90%. However, Alex Bowman, last 2 Roval races, that man has finished 2nd and 4th. He's got the best average finish at the last 2 Rovals. I have Chase Elliott and Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer was brought up. He's been good at the Roval. Average finish 3.5. That's 3rd best behind Bowman, Elliott, and Boyer. So if you're looking at the Roval as a similar track to this, I think you have to look at those guys. Now, Bowman is starting farther in the back, which is going to be a challenge for him. But I just don't see a lot of passing under green. It's a 3.3 mile track. And so there's just not a lot of opportunity to set guys up for a turn. You know, you see it, some of these tracks say, well, he's really good entering turn 3. So that's where he's going to, he's going to set him up for turn 3. You don't get that many laps at a road course. I think they're going to be spread out. I think the restarts are going to be chaos, absolute chaos, because that's where guys know that they need to make up spots. I don't know if the crew chiefs are going to have any idea on how to use pit stop strategy at this course, since they don't know how the car is going to react. But I just checked it on DraftKings. To win stage 1 and 2 is plus 650. I actually like it.
Really?
I do. First off, you've got the top dogs up front. You got Harvick, Hamlin, Truex, or Kyle Busch. If one of those guys nails their setup, they're going to pull away. And they're not going to have a lot of competition from guys behind them just because they're 4 of the best. One of them is going to get out. And on a track where I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing during under green, I think it's a great track to sprinkle a couple bucks on that prop.
I will say this, I don't think I think the true odds are a little less than they are like last week, but I still think they're probably less than plus 650. So I don't disagree with that. I mean, it's maybe the true odds should be plus 300, for example, because I do think, Rocky going into this type of race, as Andy said, starting position is so critical. There's only a handful of guys that can win stage 1, and then they most likely will be up there again in stage 2. So you really have probably 7 or 8 drivers that can do it. If that's the case, you're getting plus 650 with maybe only 7 live drivers. It kind of makes sense mathematically. What do you think of that, Rocky? Do you think stage 1, stage 2, we could see a sweep again?
Yeah, most definitely. Like you said, it's a road course, so your top drivers are going to be there. I like what Andy said. Somebody hits the setup. It could be, Elliot, Harvick, Truex, Hamlin, any of those could easily pull away and win both stages fairly easy.
Rocky, who's somebody else you're looking at? And I'll throw it to you after this, Andy, and you guys might not have an answer. I don't have an answer for this, but Rocky, do you know if this track similar, is more similar to Sonoma or Watkins Glen? Because, we talk about guys that do well in the road courses, but Sonoma and Watkins Glen have several different intricacies to them. And Keselowski's done much better at Watkins Glen, for example. Harvick's done better, I believe, at Sonoma. It's something I'm going to have to dig into a little bit more. But yeah, we need to kind of figure out, because I thought it was interesting, Andy, that you're saying the Roval, because some of the stats I'm looking at consider that a road course, and they're throwing that into the last like 3 season stats, even though it's half oval. So Rocky, are you looking at the Roval any like Andy is, or are you going to look more at Sonoma and Watkins Glen, Rocky?
I'm a little more at Sonoma and Watkins Glen. I think it's more similar
because there's no oval involved.
Yeah. But you still have to look at the Roval a little bit, because you got to be a good road course driver to actually round it as well. But I'm looking at, and I didn't think I would say this week actually, but I'm looking at Harvick again this week.
He's very good at Sonoma, surprisingly. So it's not crazy. And he's on the pole. Yeah. He's
starting on the pole. That's what I was about to say. He's starting on the pole. That's the perfect position there. A road course, you've got to take somebody up at the top, most likely. Also, he has 2 wins, 10 top 5 finishes, 22 top 10 finishes in 40 road course races in his career. Average finish 12.5 on these top tracks. Over the last 8 road course races, he has 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 7 top 10s. So he hasn't done bad on these top tracks. His average finish during that time, 6.9, which is the best among all drivers over the past 8 road course races. So definitely looking at Harvick, starting from the pole. Another guy I'm looking at is Martin Truex Jr. He's starting 3rd here for this one. I've seen somebody in the chat room say that, he's the best road course driver. He's very good. He very well could win this race. I got him finishing 3rd. He has 4 wins, 10 top 5 finishes, 15 top 10s in his 30 road course career races. Average finish 14.1 on road courses in his career. And here's a guy who got better, who's gotten a lot better as his careers went on as well. Over the last 8 road course races, Truex has 3 wins, 5 top 5, 6 top 10s. Average finish 8.1 during that time, which is 3rd best among all drivers. So I'm looking at Truex as well.
Yeah, right now, if you look at DraftKings, the 2 favorites at 4-1 are Chase Elliott and Martin Truex. If you look offshore, one of the sharp books offshore that I follow has Elliott as a slight favorite over Truex at 4-1. Truex about 480. But then you got Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick after that, and then Ryan Blaney. So those are your top 5 favorites. And after that, Keselowski's a little bit down. So really the top 5 favorites right now at most books, Elliott, Truex, Kyle Busch, Harvick, and Hamlin. So 3 of the 5 Gibbs drivers, Andy. And one thing I'll say about road courses, as Rocky touched on, you have to be a good driver. And I consider Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, maybe Chase Elliott, because he's good on all types of tracks as well, as the best drivers on the circuit right now. Not a surprise that they're the top 4 favorites overall. Andy, what do you think as far as the type of course? I know you mentioned the Rovals. From your initial research into like the intricacies of Daytona's track, do you see it more similar to Sonoma or Watkins Glen? I haven't dug in enough to really know, or I'm not even sure we can figure that out. Any thoughts?
Yeah, off the top of my head, the very first thing I thought about was Watkins Glen being maybe a touch flatter than Sonoma. Sonoma's got a lot of hills and ups and downs. That's off the top of my head. I really didn't consider either one because they both have different pit strategies. So you have a lot of these finishes that are not indicative of how they raced. Some of those that are, some guys try 2 stops, some try 3 stops, and then caution comes out at the bad time. And even though the guy was fast, he gets caught up. So it's difficult. This is a difficult track to handicap. I will tell you a couple guys who I'm hoping I get good matchups against. Ryan Newman is pretty bad at road courses. This is just not his cup of tea. Austin Dillon's pretty bad. And Joey Logano has had some success at road courses, but he's been fairly unlucky. The last 6, if you include the Roval, the last 6 road course races in Rovals, he's outside the top 20 average finish. So he's had success in the past, but for whatever reason, it has just not gone right for him. So I think sometimes we go into these races that we have a lot of history on and we say, oh, that guy's really good, or, oh, that guy loves this place. We're dealing with a track that they haven't raced on. So I might start with who's bad at these types of tracks, who struggles on the handling, who can't get off the line on restarts, and maybe start my research that way.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's not always about picking the guy in the matchup. It's a lot of times about fading guys. And you mentioned the best play since the restart in May has been just to fade Bowman. Yep. It hasn't been about picking the other side. It's about fading him. And I, of course, have been neutral on him because he finished 2nd in the first restart race after Darlington. He dominated the California race before that. So he'd looked really strong in like 2 of the first 7 races. And unfortunately, I was completely off on fading him as well. I didn't go with him, but I missed that easy money as well for several months. So yeah, it's an excellent point though. And also with starting position being so important here, we can look a little farther back now and see guys that sometimes struggle and then fade them. Rocky, throw out somebody else to me. I'll just say here, we got Matt Kenseth starting 16th, Clint Boyer starting 12th, Ryan Newman starting 14th. These are guys that sometimes can show something on these types of tracks that are starting farther back. Rocky, anybody you're looking at though that you think can win?
Well, I got a long shot here. And I think y'all mentioned him earlier, Clint Boyer.
Yep.
Boyer starting in 12th position, which is not an ideal start to get a win on the road course, really. He's going to have to pass some cars, move to the front, maybe catch a caution, get bunched back up and do something. But he does run well on road courses. He has 1 win, 12 top 5 finishes, 17 top 10s in 30 races on road courses. Average finish 11.7 on road course races, which is second best among all drivers. Over the past 8 races on road courses, Boyer has 5 top 5 finishes, average finish of 7.4, which is second best among all drivers. So I'm looking at Boyer maybe to move toward the front.
Yeah, I just mentioned him as well. He's at 20-1. He's actually ahead of Kurt Busch. He's ahead of Alex Bowman, de Benedetto. But yeah, he's about the 7th or 8th guy on the list. So he is live. And at 20-1, 25-1 at some other books, he can make some noise. Andy, any long shots you're looking at? By the way, I want to point out Ryan Blaney starting 24th. Of all the big names, that's the one that's well outside the top 10, top 20 even. I guess Keselowski taking him out really screwed him over in this past race. But yeah, it's going to be tough for Blaney. Although, Andy, recently I feel like guys back in the 20s have won some Sonoma races more than Watkins Glen, but it happens occasionally. We used to never see it happen. And who knows with this track, there's so much uncertainty of this new course. But Andy, anybody you're looking at maybe a little bit outside of a little bit of a long shot that might have a shot here?
Honestly, no. I'm just, I feel like sometimes we like, okay, we're going to go over long shots and Rocky's dead on with Clint Boyer. That was the one. But other than that, I just can't see anybody getting up past those, the Elliots, the Truex, the Harvicks, the Kyle Busches. But I did want to bring up Kyle Busch here because I want to get Rocky's take on this. So we talked about fading Kyle Busch, and I did. One of the plays I gave out on the show was Truex over Kyle Busch on the Saturday race. And we won because Harvick got into him and Truex was running good up in third, overcame the penalty. And I just saw something that I thought it looked like it clicked. And so I came back the next race and bet on Kyle Busch, and we cashed a ticket. And I'm the kind of handicapper, I'm fine with making very quick pivots in my thinking. If I see somebody that I think is going to hit a cold streak, I'll bet against him, no problem. If I see him turn it around, not only am I going to not be the guy that's like, well, I want to stay away and see a little bit more. I'll put my money where my mouth is and bet on him. So I think Kyle Busch looked like something clicked and his team got it together. They said they swung for the fences at Michigan and it worked. So Rocky, I don't know. You think Kyle Busch is now back to his old form?
I'm not going to say fully back to his old form, but I do like him here in this race. My free head-to-head matchup is going to be on Kyle Busch over Joey Logano, actually.
Great pick.
I like that.
Great pick.
The only thing that worries me here is Logano starting right behind him. Busch is starting 4th. Logano's right behind him in 5th. But like you said, something's clicking now maybe with the Busch team. He has 4 wins, 11 top 5 finishes, 19 top 10s in 32 road course races, average finish of 13.8 in his career. Logano has 1 win, 5 top 5s, 11 top 10s, and 24 road course races, average finish of 15.1, which again, if you remember in previous shows, I said the cutoff kind of, that 15 mark, anything worse than that in your career is probably not that great. Anything under that, maybe 13 or less, is really good as far as a career finish on these tracks. So I'm looking definitely at Kyle Busch over Logano there. And just another thing I want to mention, and I think Steve might have mentioned a minute ago, is Ryan Blaney. That caught my eye. Ryan Blaney starting in 24th. I'm not exactly sure why he's starting so far back, but 24th position, I'm going to look to fade him possibly in some matchups. If they have him matched up with the right guys, with the right line, I'm going to definitely be looking to fade Blaney this weekend.
Well, Rocky, I'm going to give it to you right now. I'm looking at one offshore book, but Kyle Busch minus 155 over Logano, minus 125 over Ryan Blaney, available right now. We're going to be off here in about 2 minutes, so I'll let Rocky get off a little early and run. And yeah, I don't give out a lot of free matchups here, but that was one I saw. But I'll throw
texting that one in now.
We're going to wrap in about 2 minutes, so get your free matchup in. I'll let you guys run on that one. But yeah, that's
you took it. It's Kyle Busch over Ryan Blaney. That's my free pick. Can I do my 30 seconds on Formula One real quick? We've had some chat in the race room. sometimes the best bet is the bet you don't make. Lewis Hamilton was a big favorite. I told you guys last week with the temperatures, Verstappen had a real shot, and he made an incredible strategy in qualifying to start with the hard tires, and he blew the Mercedes away. It wasn't even close. So I should have bet on Verstappen. I called it, even though, and then I just didn't get paid for it, which is frustrating. They're in Spain. Normally the Ferraris are good here, but the Ferraris are trash right now. You can get Hamilton at minus 190 now. I think that's another value play. Anytime you get him minus 200 and the temperatures are in his favor, they're not going to blow tires anymore. They know how to manage it now. And if he's on the pole, you're going to lose all your value. Bottas just doesn't have the killer mentality. Never has. I don't think he ever will. So if you guys are looking to bet a winner, I think a sprinkle on Hamilton right now before qualifying would be worth it. So.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, Andy's live show, UFC. You're getting some love, Andy, on Saturday nights, in-game wagering UFC for several hours. So don't forget to check that out. And then NASCAR, of course, we're here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're back also with the NBA tip-off show. I'll be back here in about an hour at 3 p.m. Eastern live. First Pitch is up next at 2 p.m. Eastern each weekday, Monday through Friday. We also have bonus weekend editions for First Pitch at noon Eastern. So if you're looking for some weekend action, baseball shows Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. And then UFC live. What time, Andy? Like 6 or 7 Eastern, I guess, this weekend. It always changes a bit.
Yeah. So it's it's the biggest show that we've done.
That's right.
It's going to be. Right. It's Stipe and Cormier. We had I think we had 800 people watching us, and awesome. I made the fatal mistake of letting my wife bring me dinner, and people asked what it was, and it was a salad, and the room would not let me. They were calling me salad boy.
You got to be eating like raw meat when you're doing an NBA live show. You should be eating raw meat.
And she brought me like a salmon patty. I mean, it was just basically the worst combination.
At least it was some kind of meat. It wasn't delicious. A veggie burger.
No, but it's going great. We made money. My partner Nathan was on fire. He was giving out winners all night. That show has just been anything we expected and more. It's so much fun. We're making money, and this is the biggest card in a while. This is a legacy card. So it was funny.
Yeah, and if those of you like in-game betting, obviously, in-fight betting in this case, some great money to be made. There's also in-show betting. As I said, I had the over 4.5 hours before he collapsed. That cashed in. We also can take bathroom break bets. I think that one would be a good one, Andy, because I know you held on for several hours there when I was watching.
Somebody suggested the name of the show be called Punches and Pee Breaks, which I might have to run that up the corporate poll.
It is doing well, though. So I guess you'll be on probably, about 7 Eastern, or is it a 6 Eastern?
6.
Might be 6.
We start with the prelims, and then, as Steve noticed, we go all night, man.
I'll be checking into the main event around 11:30 Eastern to make sure you're still there. Make sure you're still breathing. Because there's two of you, so you can check each other. But if you both go face down, then someone has to check on both of you. So I'll be there to make sure you're still going. But 6 p.m. Eastern live Saturday, UFC In-Fight show with Andy Lang. Of course, 2 baseball shows at noon Eastern, Saturday and Sunday as well. I'll be on those. And then we're back next Wednesday, our normal time, 1 p.m. Eastern here live, Wager Talk TV for life in the fast lane, NASCAR and Formula One handicapping. Baseball, 2 p.m. And I'm back here at 3 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday for NBA tip-off. Rocky's at sportsmemo.com. Rocky Atkinson, sportsmemo.com. Andy Lang and myself are at wagertalk.com, wagertalk.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Great show as always, and good luck this weekend.